everyone, this is Uncle Mike with my Kerbal Kareer on Kerbal Space Program on the Xbox One Enhanced Edition. Where we left off in Mission 12 was we rescued Burden from orbit, and now I think what we need to do is we just need to go ahead and get some funds. We need to work on just getting money so we can do more stuff, especially just here in the Kerbal, Mun, and then eventually Minmus system. So let's go ahead and take a look here at mission control, and let's just take some simple missions here. Most of them, they're just tests. So let's go ahead and test the heat shield. We can test this, so we've got to be going, need to test the 2.5 meter heat shield. I think we've got enough stuff to do that. Here is something orbiting the Mun. Don't want to take that at all. So what we got? We got orbit. We got to test some stuff at the launch site. Test the heat shield. So we can do some of this stuff. So let's go ahead and go into the VAB and let's make a little test stand and let's do some of these, especially the ones that are just landed that we can do. So no problem. So let's get a probe body here, just so we make sure we have. Go ahead and put that on. Let's go ahead and take a single, that right there. So now we just have some controls. So let's look at our contracts here. We need to test the Thumper solid fuel booster at the launch site. So let's take the Thumper, which is an engine. So here is the Thumper. We'll go ahead and put it at the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're just going to set its limiter to 0 and set its fuel to 0, because it's just a test. We don't need to actually run it or anything like that. Let's just go ahead and get our staging set here. So we need to make sure that we test the booster. What else we've got here? We also need to test the 1.25 heat shield landed at Kerbal, and so should be a note here. Perform the test, use the run test option, so we can put the heat shield in. So we'll come over here and we will then get the 2.5 heat shield. Should be able to just flip it over. There we go. Go ahead and make its force 0, its ablator 0. So there is that one. Then we need to test the cheetah. So we can, and that one is probably got to do it through staging. Yes, we need to do it through staging. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and get a structural piece here. Put it out here. Go. And so we need to, the liquid fuel cheetah. Here is the cheetah. Put it out there, and we just need to activate it through staging. So, but I am going to go ahead and take all of this down. We can see what that looks like. Oh, that's pretty cool. You can take bear. All right, cool. Do that. So now we'll just put these on their own stages. Then we've got this flight with the heat shield that we could do. So that's it right there. So we can now go ahead and launch this. We should then be able to run all of these tests, get those 3 contracts done, earn some money, a little bit of science, a little bit of reputation. We're just doing some basic stuff here on a short mission 13 Kerbal Space Program here on the Xbox One Enhanced Edition. So run the test. That test not going. Go ahead and got that one done. Got that one done. Might be because I'm not actually landed. All right, let's see what happens. Drop it off. There we go. All right, well, we got our contracts, but we lost some stuff here. So let's go to the tracking station and clean this up. All right, so here's our vehicles. Let's go ahead and terminate the debris here. Get rid of Burden's heap. Yeah, I want to go ahead and destroy that. There we go. So everything is looking good now. See our relay sat network looking really sharp here. So let's go ahead and leave the tracking station. So we got a couple contracts done there while destroying some of that stuff. All right, polar orbit. Got to test that. Here we can test the mainsail engine at the launch site. Test the Kodiak at the launch site. So we need to test the heat shield landed. So we need to get this onto the ground, so that way we get some. So we'll go back to the VAB here and we'll just make it a little lower so we can actually drop it onto the ground. I guess it's actually flying in the air when it's on this like this. So we'll just take this here. That's not what I wanted to do. Right there. Nope, that's not what I want to do again. All right, so put that up there. Grab the probe body. There we go. Down here on the ground. And let's see here. We need to look at our contracts now. In those, test the heat shield. All right, so now we need to test the mainsail. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this. Test the mainsail. Put the mainsail there. Then we also need to test the mainsail and then the Kodiak. Stack those like that. We can get rid of that. We'd have no fuel, but we're just going to go ahead and turn down the thrust all the way down. And get rid of all of this. There we go. Shroud small. Gotcha. Okay. And then bear. All right. There we go. All right. So there's that. Now what we want to do is we want to grab a hold of the probe body because we want to drop this on the ground because I think that then would call it that it landed. So let's go ahead and fly this and see what happens here of this mission 13. Just doing some simple tests here today just to get some money. So very short mission 13 here. So I'm going to go to throttle. Let's see, we can just go ahead and drop everything. That should have got us all of our, yes it did. So there's the test the mainsail, test the Kodiak, test the cheetah, test the thumper. Now I would imagine that we're on, so let's see if we can now run the test. No, it's not giving it. Let's see here, let's just read this again, see if we're missing something. So test the heat shield. Run the test option in the parts count when all test conditions. So we're here, but it's just, oh, we're supposed to fly the 2 point. Oh, that's why. Okay. Recover. We have the wrong. And who's we, huh? Uncle Mike here has made the error. I need to have the 1.25 on this. So no problems. Let's go ahead and make that change real quick. So we just need to swap it over to a 1.25 millimeter heat shield, run the test. That's why it wasn't working. We'll come here, we'll come into our thermal. We'll get the 1.25. Now what we can do is we can just go ahead and launch this. Yep. launch this. Just a little test stand. That's all we're got here. Just a little test stand. Nothing fancy. Just working on going through some of these contracts to get some funds so we can continue to finance our, go ahead and run the test. There we go. Look at that. Run the test. Got it. Go ahead and recover our vehicle. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do here with these contracts. You can make some very interesting just test stands too. Like up at the Redstone project at Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. You can go ahead and do that too. So that's a whole part of the game that I haven't really done any aviation stuff, and haven't really just done some of this test just to check out the physics of the game. So I don't really want to do these observational surveys, so I'm going to decline that. So polar orbit. So science data from around Kerbal gives us a lot of good stuff. So it says here transmit recurs from, that's easy to do. So here's a kickback we could do. So now we've got some other things. What is this? Orbiting. Okay, test that, orbiting the Mun. So we're probably eventually here going to have to really start designing some things. So science data from space around the Mun, transmit. So we can definitely do that one because we've got several vehicles that we can do that with. So let's do this launch site contract here, and then let's do a flight. So we just need, so launch here is the kickback. So we'll just go ahead and take that off. Kickback is the big one here. Let's flip it around. Hold this. Go ahead and give it no thrust. Go ahead and change our staging so we can activate that zero thrust, zero fuel kickback here. But launch this. And then we'll probably do that flight, that science around Kerbal. So zero throttle, click it, there we go. That one is now done. Cover the vehicle. So just some simple contracts here to get some funds so we can start to get to bigger and better things. So now we're close to 300,000. Of course, one of the things that we know that would be epic to be able to get would be to upgrade our research and development, which takes 451,000. And the reason why that's would be epic to be able to get is because we're getting close to our limit here of what we really want in terms of, because what we really want to go here toward is right there. We really want precision engineering here. Why? Because we can get then the probodobodine probodobine. Yeah, that's crazy to think of, but that right there, that's really what I want, is this relay antenna, because as you know, here in Kerbal Kareer, here the Uncle Mike Kerbal Kareer, I am focusing on unmanned spaceflight with the Comrade program. So really need to get this, but I'm limited now, so I've got to wait until I get enough funds. So all right, let's see if we've got anything that's for a flight. Liquid fuel, decoupler, floor. So we've got things here that can give us quite a bit. So into an equatorial orbit of the Mun, so we could actually shoot the Mun. It says position a satellite, and it must have a material bay and a thermometer. Build a new unmanned probe that has an antenna and can generate power. Reach the designated equatorial orbit. Have a thermometer. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take that. So we're just having it in queue. synchronous orbit around Mimas. Let's look at what we've got. We got orbit around Kerbal, space around Kerbal. That can actually just be a flight. That's easy. Equatorial orbit of the Mun, and then the heat shield one. So this one right here would give us almost 200,000. So position a satellite in equatorial orbit of the Mun, and it must have a thermometer and a materials bay. So let's go ahead and go here and see if we can modify one of our Comrade vehicles and add make sure it has the bay, cargo bay. So this was the latest Comrade, the Mark 7. And it has the science, but it doesn't have. But can we modify this? Put a cargo bay on it, maybe even just for this payload. Does it say it must have a materials bay? Is this considered a materials bay? The service bay. Well, actually, if I just plop it on top somewhere, like right there, that now build a new unmanned antenna. Let's put this on the launch pad and just see. Let's see what we've got here. That's just an easy mod that we could just put that materials bay, but does that give us what we want? Have a maintain stability reach? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So we can put this into orbit. We are going to go ahead and recover the vehicle. What we're going to do is we're just going to look at that, make sure we like it, and then we are going to go for a Mun direct, put this into equatorial orbit. We know how to do it, so we're going to do it fairly quickly here. Let's go ahead and look at that vehicle one more time. Put it on the launch pad, go to wait for our launch window for a Moon direct, and off we go. All right, so here we go. So yeah, it's actually fairly interesting because we can just open up the doors then. So yeah, this will work. I mean, there's nothing says this won't work. And then of course we also can, once we do that, we could actually probably deorbit this and put it onto the surface. So all right, I am going to go ahead and turn all the lights on before we even launch. There we go. All right. We're not going to save this. It is a Comrade Mark 7 with that one single mod just for this contract. Here we go. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to see if we're in a launch window for a Mun direct. If we are, great. And we are, see the Mun right there? We can just do a Mun direct. So, all right, staging is set and is go. Throttle is set and go. SAS is armed and go. Flight, we are go. We are T-minus 5, 4, main engine start, 1, and liftoff. It is looking real good here. I cannot remember if I took the gimbal out of all those swivels. Nope, I did not. So, whoa, where are you going? Where are you going, Uncle Mike? 090. A little bit of an error there. Was not paying attention. One of the reasons I also want to do mostly unmanned spaceflight is it's just less risk. I'm not risking life here. Looking good. As you know from past, what we're going to do is with a MUN direct, we're just going to do a standard launch. Then we're just going to literally shoot the MUN here. We're about to come up, throttle back, coming up here on booster cutoff and separation. Remember, we do have the crossfeed on with our crossfeed tube, so looking 5x5 here. There we have cutoff, throttle up, and separation. Passing through 18 kilometers, 530 seconds. Definitely added the weight there, so, but it's alright. We'll make it up with Delta V once we get into orbit, or actually once we get to space, because we're not really going to go into an orbit around Kerbal. We're just going to do a MUN direct. And coming up on 30 kilometers, 600 meters per second. Looking good. Starting our pitch profile to the moon. So pitch program, here we go. Undirect, there we go. Go into map mode and see what we've got. Let's go ahead and get some of this visualization of the comm network off. That way it doesn't clutter up our map view here. So here we go. The MUN direct, there is the MUN. We can go ahead and set that for as our target so we get information about its orbit. See now the pink reticle there on our nav ball, that is the MUN. So now I can just fly right toward the MUN without having to switch back and forth here. Looking good. We're about to go through cutoff here, so let's go ahead and go. Separation. Activate the engine. Little ullage burn. Let's go to get rid of the fairing. Fairing is out. Remember, we got our lights on. There we go. Let's burn. Let's go to the MUN. Do not see though where we have our contract. What's that electrical? It says an equatorial orbit of the MUN. Designated equatorial orbit. Problem. Just keep burning. It's gonna be a long burn here just because we added that weight. It's a pretty heavy, it's a lander, so it's going to be pretty heavy. So it's going to take just most of that stage to do a trans-mooner injection. We are right on the down line, looking good. Heading right toward the MUN. So we can get access to everything, we can go ahead and open up the bay. Good. Flying this out all the way. Like I said, burn most of the stage here, if not. Oh, what happened? not sure what just happened here. Staging just went haywire. Just on my screen it just went haywire, so I'm not really sure, so we're just gonna not mess with it. We'll fix it later, see what's going on here. Do all of this manually now, I'm not really sure. Orbit is coming up. There is our apoapsis. We go to 11,400 kilometers, so doing here. I do not know. I do not have any information here on that stage now. But because the vehicle is heavier now, I don't think we can actually get, I think we'll have booster, we'll have that stage cut off before we reach an encounter with the MUN, so. Not really sure what happened there. Yeah, I accidentally staged. Ooh, that was just lucky. I had actually, on my controller here, I accidentally staged. Wow, that was crazy. Alright, so let's go ahead now and focus view. And so there is now the orbit that we need to be in, which, as you can see, so need to not good here because I need to be going the opposite direction. Hit that engine. Alright, just do a small burn because I want that. I want to make sure that I can get that stage there will not collide with me as I'm now going to slow down because I've added too much delta V. And it looks like that stage is going to bypass us, so it looks like we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and get our set up here. We can do, let's go ahead now. I do not have an encounter with the MUN right now, so I gotta go back over here. Just need to get an encounter, then we can set up the orbit once we get to the MUN. Alright, so there we go. So at least we've got it now in the correct. So we can do a mid correction burn here. We should be able to. Now add a maneuver. And let's see here. Alright, so there's no real reason to do a mid correction burn. What we'll just do is we'll just come here to periapsis. Then we'll just go ahead and set, because it looks like it's 561 by 631, so it's fairly very low eccentricity, or very high eccentricity, very close to 1. So all right, so go ahead and let's make sure we're oriented correctly here. Orient something like that. How we doing with battery? Looking good. Go ahead now, let's just warp out into the sphere of influence of the Mun. So go. Check our resources. Everything's looking 5 by 5. Get the periapsis, and let's do our, we could actually design a burn here, so we haven't really done that yet, have we? So let's go ahead and design a, so now we just need a retrograde. Like that. Go. Warp to the next maneuver. All right. Go ahead and get set up now. Now we have a maneuver reticle here. That's this blue one here. So put our craft on that. I'm going to do a very quick burn here. So estimated burn is a 30-second burn. So we'll just go ahead and start at T-minus 15 seconds. So we are 20 seconds away from the initialization of the burn. Let's go ahead, and everything's looking good. We're on a correct side. Got good view of Kerbal in the spaced center. So good here. All right, we're burning. There'll be a two burn maneuver here. So burn here, and we will burn again to on a prograde to raise the periapsis to make our orbit per the contract. Good here, and engine stop. That maneuver is now done. Now what we just need to do is we just need to come up here to apoapsis. I'm not too concerned about a maneuver, to design a maneuver, so we're just going to go ahead and warp on up here. Vehicle automatically go around pretty much to prograde. See how close we are here. Warp on up. Again, we're doing this because we want to get that money. All right, so we had to go around the backside, but now we are good position here. So we will just go ahead and get set up here and get ready for our burn. I'm going to go ahead and burn and just raise that orbit or that periapsis up. Good. Go. And the contract stabilize. There we go. Contract is now done. So here is the contract. That is completed. We already did that test, so that is good. So you know what I think we need to do? I think we need to go to the surface, because this has got landing legs. So let's go ahead and put the gear down. Lights are already on. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and do now. There is, let's shoot for this big crater, huh? Somewhere right in here, because we already got that one down, that lander. Let's go ahead and flip on over here to retrograde, and let's start now. Powered descent initiation. What is PDI? I think it is, but we will just start our initiation here of our descent. All right, and we're burning. Good here. I think we're going to need to change the inclination a little bit here though. Power off. All right, so now somewhere right around here, we're going to design a maneuver. There we go. We're just going to tilt that up, something like that. So we're going to do a little maneuver right there to incline our landing, so we can land in this big crater here. Let's go toward the middle so we can give ourselves some wiggle room. All right, there we go. So we got a maneuver right there. Let's go ahead and warp to our next maneuver. Again, a very, very small burn here. Right on the normal. So we picked a really good spot. So that's right on the normal. This is the most efficient way to change your inclination. So normal's looking good. I'm going to fly this just by eye now. So dial in just a little bit of throttle. Nice and slow. You see where we're tilting our inclining or tilting our flight path. Got a lot of craters, so I'm going to go almost maybe about right there. That gives us a lot of choices, I think. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and that, and so there we go. That is our where we want to now go ahead and send into. So I'm going to go ahead and warp to right here. And at that point, we will be ready for landing. We've got lights on, so we're kind of getting to the dark side here, but we've got direct access to Kerbal now. So that's a pretty cool shot right there. Get some shots like that for the old YouTube thumbnail. All right. Go ahead and turn SAS off. We'll just let this rotate around. Lights are on. Let's go ahead as that rotates around. Go ahead and bring up our resources. Because this will allow us to transmit this back. We get some more science. So there is our lander here. So this is going to be our newest lander here on the Mun. So you can see that we can really explore different areas of the Mun, even though I would imagine these big craters are different biomes. That's why I'm just picking it, because I'm sure there's other biomes like the poles. I guess we could do that at some point too. So SAS is coming on. We are just going to orient ourselves now. Go ahead and go into free mode and the view. I'm going to go ahead and do a roll program. We'll get our nav ball so it makes sense to us. Up is up and down is down. All right, I think we're now crossing over the crater. That's the edge of the crater right there. Yeah, so we are now over the crater. Go ahead and start to fire. Got quite a bit of delta V to take out here. So we had over 600 meters per second of delta V. We're at 20 kilometers, so but we're over the crater, so I'm not really too concerned right now. Go ahead and continue. I'm going to pitch up a little bit so that way we carry more horizontal velocity here. So I like the landing right there where I'm looking at, right in line. We're going to go ahead and pull horizontal. That way we can then try as best we can take out a horizontal velocity, because that's started decent here. Might be pretty good. I like what I'm seeing here. Like what I'm seeing. Just looking around, see what else, like if I can see anything. See anything interesting. Push this right on to 270. So I'm just pushing my velocity vector. Go 270, come back to 270. 13 kilometers in altitude. Now, of course, we know that's not actually 13 kilometers because we got this topography here. All right, go ahead and go into surface mode. All right, we are almost in a vertical descent. I really like where we're landing. Let's go ahead and get vertical. All right, engine off. We're at 10 kilometers. Kilometers. Dial in some, try to find out roughly where neutral buoyancy is, you want to call it that, where we really have a very low. All right, we are now going to power up. About half throttle right now, looks good. We got 105 units of oxidizer. Looking good. We got good charge on the batteries with full sun. Direct communication with the space center. All right, gonna go ahead and come off the throttle a little bit. We got, whoops. There's a little bit too much fuel there. Need to really come off the throttle here. Then, there we go. I like that little more throttle. There we go. That looks good. All right, come on down. Just looking around to see if I see anything on the MUN. I don't see anything. There's some Easter eggs or something like that. I've really never done any of those monoliths or any of the things that are in the game, so taking a look, see if there is anything, but I do not see anything. So we're coming up on 90 units of oxidizer, 5.5 kilometers in altitude, 41 down. Got a little throttle here, taking out some of our descent. Go. Good. We got 2 contracts or 2 things done here. We're gonna get a bunch of science. Should get new science here from this biome, this location on the MUN, and plus we did the equatorial orbit around the MUN contract, so good, looking good. We will have a long shadow, so let's go ahead and rotate so we can see the shadow if it actually renders. Also have our landing light, so we should pick up our light and have a visual reference. Looking 5 by 5 here. 82 units of oxidizer, so we're good. Like it. Shot of that. Like, sweet, huh? $22 down, 2.2 kilometers. Landing light is on. We see a shadow. It's going to be a long shadow from way over there. .8 kilometers, 16 down. We need to touch down at about less than 3. Landing light is visible. Dial in some more power. Off the throttle. That we want about. Don't think we're going to see a shadow here, so. I like that. Down. Nicely done. Two down. Keep her coming down. Start taking out in your little more throttle. Our velocity vector to be almost perfectly vertical. 1.2 down, 1.1 down. A hover off the throttle. Down. Doing good. Come on down. Dial in some throttle for landing. Stop. Done. Shut down that engine. SAS comes off. There we go. Definitely a new biome. Let's go ahead while we still have direct connection and we still got good battery. Let's go ahead and material bay. Transmit. Transmit. Temperature. Pressure. Transmit. One of the science goos. Transmit. All right, there we go. So now that can just sit there. It's charging the battery, but it'll probably eventually die once it's not going to have very much charge. So, but yep, very good. It just shots right here. Very, very cool. So we did a contract, got a bunch of money, and now we've got a bunch of science for doing that. So this is a great little lander design here, this Comrade Mark 7. So thank you, Comrade. Great little design. I like it. It's really, really cool. So, all right, there were enough of that. Let's go to the Space Center. And see how we're doing now with science and with funds. We should have a lot of science. Probably just going to save up the science. There's just really, so we're at the 231, 435,000 fund. And as soon as we can get that right there, that's what we want. Kerbal EVAs can collect surface samples, resource transfers available, and then increase the research. Okay, so this is really what we're trying to do here. We really want to get to that. So let's see what we've got. So we've got some basic missions, another equatorial orbit, polar orbit, build a new surface outpost on the Mun. Interesting. Rescue somebody. We got rescue orbit of Kerbin. Very nice. Why that one is. Must be farther away or something. So let's go to the tracking station and see what we can do here for mission 14 here in the future. See where they are at here. Of course, we didn't pick it up, so we don't really get to see where they're at, do we? So we actually picked up the contract. So I'm not even sure what that is. Manley Mark II relay. That is. terminate that. Just clean up some of our space. Mark II. Seriously, I don't even know what this is. Mark II. Mainly is a manned mission, but why would it then be relay? Do we leave something up here? Is it trash or? Yeah, it is. It is just trash. All right, so that's trash. All right, so it's deorbiting now. Ah, I see what it's doing. It's accelerating, but it's slowly it's losing its orbit. So it's in a decaying orbit because it actually hits the atmosphere. It might not survive now. But since we're flying it, we can't just leave. So we got to time warp now and just wait for it to burn up. All right. Catastrophic failure. That's all right. Go to the Space Center. Ooh. Still in time warp. See what happens here. All right, there we go. So clean that up. Let's just make sure here. Got now with our vehicle. So there we go. All of our relay sats. All the relay sat. Now we've got 2. We can next flight. We need to rename. Let's see if we can go ahead and fly this. Let's go ahead and rename this. So this is now a new relay sat. Here before we name this. This is now one relay lander 2. What we call these. This is not the naming convention. We also need to change the type to lander. Go. Is that not our naming convention? One relay lander 1, relay lander 2. Here we go. If we take a look, there is now our network. And good. So we've got that big crater to explore. That one we could land at. I'm sure there's poles. So yeah, we have a lot to be able to do here just with our Comrade program. Let's go ahead and go back to the Space Center. And that will be the conclusion here of mission 13 of my Kerbal Kareer here in Kerbal Space Program, the Xbox One Enhanced Edition. So you know the plan. Thumbs up because you are amazing. Subscribe, chime that bell to get notified. I am Uncle Mike.